So today I'm going to introduce you guys to the 5 fundamental leg locks that we see in submission grappling. Hi guys, my name is Joe and welcome to Fighting Words, the Martial Arts Library. On this channel I review martial arts books and talk about other martial arts related subjects. As I said up front, today I'm going to be sharing the 5 fundamental leg locking techniques that we see in submission grappling styles. Now, this is more of a primer and an overview. This isn't meant to be in-depth in any particular way, but I think for people who are new to grappling or who don't really do any grappling or submissions at all, I think this might be helpful in order to understand some of the basic locking techniques. So we're going to begin with probably the most basic of these locks. It is the straight ankle lock. Now, this is sometimes referred to as an Achilles tendon lock. I'm going to tell you in a second why I dislike that name and that they're not really the same thing. In a straight ankle lock, the foot is tucked underneath the armpit. The Achilles tendon area is typically braced against the forearm, and the foot is flexed down while that brace against the lower part of the leg pulls up. This creates a circular motion. If it's followed through, you could get extreme damage to the tendons and ligaments in the top of the ankle, as well as possible joint damage. Now, a lot of people, when on the receiving end of this, will actually feel it first in the Achilles part of their leg. And that's because the forearm tends to cut in and we feel soft tissue before we recognize that the leg's going to break. So that's where it sort of gets its reputation as an Achilles tendon hold. I don't like that. I mean, I think it's good to understand how to apply more pressure to the Achilles to cause more pain. And there are certain gripping techniques that I think can do that. And you can actually focus on just sawing and cutting the forearm into the tendon without actually applying that backward pressure against the foot in order to flex it. However, in order to get the best bang for your buck out of the hold, you do need that flexion to occur. Now, this is one of the first locks that people learn. It's one of the oldest. We can see it in some of the early traditional jiu-jitsu texts and early judo texts when it first came to the West. But it tends to be very difficult to master. And I've actually heard active competitors say that they will accept an injury to their ankle rather than tap. So it may not be the most effective of holds. Now, sticking with the straight leg locks, I'm going to move on to the knee bar. Now, for those who are familiar with the arm bar, which is a much more common technique, that would be a hyperextension of the elbow. Well, the knee bar is its sister hold for the lower body. It involves a hyperextension of the knee joint. Now, the most common way to execute this, although there are a few other ways, is to essentially straddle the opponent's thigh and hug their lower leg to you and drive your hips through while leaning back, which will extend the knee of that leg, much in the same way that a Jujikatame style armbar will hyperextend the elbow. Now, while this is a potentially devastating lock because it can do a tremendous amount of damage to a major joint, one of the problems with it is that it tends to be a bigger move. One can usually see it coming, and the opponent can resist it with muscle alone until they get a chance to defend it in a much easier way by altering the attacker's position and hold on them. So if somebody has really strong hamstrings, you might have problems getting this hyperextended. And much like with the armbar, one can grasp one's own arm to keep it from getting hyperextended. A common defense against the knee bar is to fold your free leg over the leg that's being attacked. Now we're going to get into the twisting leg locks. The most common is the heel hook. Now, in modern parlance, The outside heel hook involves turning the knee inwards and turning the heel outwards, while the inside heel hook goes in reverse. So you turn the heel in toward the center of the body and the knee goes out. It sounds confusing. I'll have illustrations and labels. So the heel hook has a high degree of success in tournaments where it is legal. Should note that if you have any intention of competing in various grappling and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournaments, it's not always legal, and in fact it's illegal in quite a few. The way the heel hook works involves immobilizing the thighs and hips, and then rotating the lower leg using the heel as your point of torque. Of course, you can add more force by applying additional pressure, usually using your back, like your lat area, against the opponent's toe area of the foot. Again, this has a high degree of success in mixed martial arts and in no-gi grappling competitions. Where it's legal, you're going to see a lot of wins by it. Following that, we get another twisting leg lock, the figure 4 toe hold. I'm going to be using that terminology as someone with an education in catch-as-catch-can wrestling. I recognize that there are many variations of the toe hold. What we see most commonly in formats like mixed martial arts or submission grappling is called the figure 4 toe hold because you form a figure 4 with your arms and the leg that you have trapped. The gripping techniques are similar to how one would do a bent arm lock, like an urigarami or Americana or a kimura. Again, this is a rotational lock. It's best if it's held into the chest and then the rest of the body is used to apply torque. One thing that's sort of unique about this lock compared to some of the others is that you don't necessarily need to be entangled around the leg you're attacking. You can be entangled around the opposite leg. All the same, the objective is to immobilize the hips and then cause a rotation of the lower leg. Now, the damage from this can be anything from the ankle itself, stretching out and hyperextending the tendons, doing damage to the ankle bones. It could be the knee if you torque it away from the body. And I have seen some instances where the lower leg is the first thing to give way, and we've actually seen fractured tibia and fibula as a result of a figure 4 toe hold. And finally, we get into a lock that doesn't get a whole lot of attention, and that is the knee compression, sometimes referred to as the calf slicer. Again, I'm not a fan of language that refers to the soft tissue. In this hold, the mechanics are such that you place a brace against the back of the knee, usually the shin or the forearm of the attacker, and then you drive the foot toward the back and the hips. So you're folding the leg over the brace. Again, as with the straight ankle lock / Achilles lock situation, a lot of people will feel the pressure against their calf before they'll realize that their knee is in danger. So it sort of has a reputation as a pain hold in some circles. This is a problem. A pain hold is something you can just grit your teeth and get through. This can potentially damage the knee joint or fracture the lower leg. As for how it works, imagine you take an unbreakable marble and stick it in the hinge of a door and then close the door as hard as you can. The hinge would separate. That's how that particular hold works. Usually it's a secondary one. The attacker will be entangling his opponent's legs and looking to lock up the foot of his opponent, and his opponent will defend, usually by rolling, and create a situation where a knee compression can occur. So I hope you guys enjoyed that and found it informative. I was trying to avoid getting too technical. I hope the pictures and videos helped display what was going on. I don't intend to make a whole lot of videos like this, but if you'd like to see more, please let me know. That's all I have for this week. If you guys would like to support the channel, please consider donating to my Ko-fi account. And if you like the video, please leave a like and subscribe for more of my stuff. I'll see you later. Bye.